Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Sports Department Podcast, the wrestling recap version where it's not Wrestlemania week anymore. But all three of us here are back. Stephen Clark, Justin Valentovic, Jesse Norman, and a lot of stuff happened outside the ring this week, so we're going to break down a lot of that, all the releases, go touch a little bit what happened during the week after WrestleMania. But fellas, before we get into this week in wrestling and the wrestling recap, how you guys doing?
Good. MLB, the show is out as Clark is rocking the $100 hat over there.
Beautiful hat.
Retails for $31. He bought a $100 game for it. So
look at that.
Who's the idiot now?
It's a hat that came with a free game, so I can't complain.
And my girlfriend got a car, so that's good.
Yeah.
So yay.
You're doing good. Look at you, thriving. Jesse,
now she can drive to my house.
Yay.
That's not gonna happen.
Jesse, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Nets keep on winning. Harden could potentially be back in the next 5 or so days.
Nice.
So can't complain there.
Nets looking good. Yankees looking bad.
Yay! All that matters.
It's a nice time right now. But hey, I'm glad for the most part. You guys are doing well. Everything's going good in your lives for the most part, so that's good. But a lot of people's lives and their dreams were crushed this past week. And WWE made their annual spring. Yes. Segue.
Some people are doing terrible. We got fired.
Yeah, they did their spring cleaning, WWE, and we're just gonna go through every single one of the wrestlers that got hurt. Not hurt. Probably hurt.
They got cut.
Hurt in the feelings, but they got cut. This happens every year. It happens every year. But it sucks.
The dumps are usually now and like post SummerSlam. Typically, right?
Usually more than
August.
Yep. Now's usually the big one.
Mm-hmm.
So we're to get through all these.
And then August, the ones they forgot about.
For the ones that skimmed through somehow.
Or the ones that were injured. The ones that were injured and they couldn't cut or something like that.
Yeah. But
they were like medically responsible for.
Yeah, and it was exactly a year to the day that last year's massacre happened with everybody getting cut.
Oh, that's ironic.
Yeah. It is. But let's get into everybody who was cut. This is our Outside the Ring segment this week, by the way. So we're to start with, I would assume, the most shocking, the biggest name on the list. It's Samoa Joe. And that's it. That hurts because I know he had a pretty good run throughout the company. If you really look back, he was a multiple-time NXT champion, U.S. champion, had a quick match with Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania. I
forget about that match.
Yeah, it was like
he ate right.
Yeah,
he ate him. Multiple
he ate Ray.
Main events, multiple world title opportunities. Never captured the world title. But if you look back on Samoa Joe's career,
we also got to say he was hurt every time he was going to get pushed.
Yeah,
they had pushes planned for him. And while I do love Joe, we do have to put that context in that they had him come back and injure Seth. And in that, he got injured. He was going to be at the top of the card.
Probably world champ.
Moved up.
Probably world champ. I think he would have got it.
Yeah.
Well, and that's mainly the reason why he got moved to commentaries, because he could just never get medically cleared. And you'd have to assume that that's the point of this release, was he probably wanted to wrestle. You know, I think there's articles and quotes from him out there saying he wants to wrestle. He won't be cleared. And he got cut. You know, he can... If, you know, the WWE doctors don't think he's able to, then hopefully if some other doctor thinks he is, it's in his best interest rather than just yesing him and giving him the clearance just to give him clearance. So hopefully it's not a case of them trying to protect him from himself. It's just them, I don't know what they're doing, but you got to assume he's going to try to find somewhere to get cleared, because it's kind of like Daniel Bryan also.
Yeah, he's gonna try, but he's older too. That's the thing that sucks. He's like 41, 42 years old. He is obviously over the peak of his career. He's near the end.
But he has had a couple years off now. I think he has a run or two left, and I think he would go so good in AEW.
Yeah.
I would not go back to Impact. I think he would add a lot to AEW. That is a legit main event talent, main event name if he were to go there. That is a huge signing.
That is, but you did bring up Impact for a second, and just like last year all over again, once the 90 days are up, it's right around Slammiversary.
It's July 14th. It's July 4th.
Slammiversary again.
July 14th.
Yeah, that's Slammiversary time. So
is it? When that is this year.
It's I'm pretty sure it's Slammiversary because that's what the whole thing, all the rumors last year with Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, Eric Young, all those guys showing up in Impact. Heath Slater was around that time last year too. So I think it's a good chance. I think he has one run in TNA and maybe he jump ship to AEW then to finish off his career, or vice versa. He starts in AEW, then does one farewell match in TNA. But I think he has one more run too. At least one. But
You would think WWE just to
I don't know if he'll go back
to Impact.
I don't know if he'll go back to Impact because most of the people that are there are not the ones that he was
worked with. It's completely
like even management wise.
True.
It's a whole new cast of characters.
Ooh. But hey, it stinks.
It's
At the end of the day, it stinks. At the end of the day, it stinks. What are you gonna do? This stuff happens. Best of luck to
But
someone.
we kind of had a feeling like this was going to happen eventually because there's no way he was going to be on commentary like the whole time for like the rest with WWE because it was always like, when's Joe coming back? Is he doing anything? Like we always like there was several times we thought, oh, he's gonna get involved on commentary somehow, and then that's how they're going to start a feud, and it just never happened. So to have him,
and they teased it
multiple times.
They teased it with this, and they the most recent one that I can remember is the Seth one, where Seth is like gonna attack Graves. Maybe he was gonna attack somebody on the Raw team, and Samoa Joe stood up and was like, "Oh, you're not gonna attack him." And Seth was like, "You don't want to do this," and he was like, "Yes, I do." And he put his headset down, and I was like, "Oh my God, please, he's back. He's got to be back then." And then nothing happened.
No, and they also kind of tricked us too, because obviously he was replaced on Raw this week, and Adnan Virk made his debut, and they're like, "Oh, he's moved back to the active roster." We see, and no. But best of luck to Joe, whatever he does next.
They made him stand out in a thunderstorm for WrestleMania to cut him the next day.
Man, a lot of them performed on Mania. A couple of them performed on Mania too, and one of those that performed on Mania was one half of the Iconics, and that is Billy Kay, and I'll throw Peyton Royce in there too. They both got the axe. When I first saw Billy Kay, she was the first one along with Mickey James that got cut. I was like, they're keeping Peyton at first.
Well, because that was that almost made sense at first because they broke them up to give Peyton the run everyone thought they were going to give her. Well, they did nothing. They literally broke them up to do nothing. That's why, like, Billy's gimmick of her running around trying to find a tag team, you gotta wonder how much was it actually a gimmick if, she got the axe at that point.
I think she came up with that in general. That wasn't given to her. She was like, hey, I want to get myself on TV.
But that's what I'm saying. She probably had the feeling like if she doesn't find something quick to latch onto or make her own, she's probably getting the axe, which she did. And then Peyton Royce literally came out to challenge Asuka, lost, and then Ripley got inserted into the title hunt, won, and then Peyton Royce got fired.
Yeah, I think it's very surefire that at least Peyton Royce is going to All Elite.
I think they both end up there because they're a package deal almost because of how good of friends they are. If you get one, I think you're going to get the other.
Well, Billy Kay, she's a lot more entertaining, but she reminds me a lot of Deonna Purrazzo, who is the current Impact Women's Champion, the Knockouts Champion.
Has she held that the whole year since she's been there?
I think she lost it once and gained it back, but they're very similar, except Billy's a lot more entertaining, kind of overlooked the whole time, but still very talented. But I think both of these women are going to do very, very well wherever they go next. If they're together, phenomenal. If they're not, they'll do great on their own, especially Billy Kay, just because of how talented.
She's funny.
She's funny. Yeah,
no, Billy's great. Billy is hilarious. I think it's sad that she's gone because she was always entertaining, and there are other people on the roster who do not deserve a roster spot over Jackson Riker. Jackson Riker is on the WWE roster, and Billy Kay, and you can't find a place for Billy Kay.
I know. It sucks. But the Iconics did win the women's tag team titles at WrestleMania 35, so I'm glad they had that cool moment while they were there. They won their match at Super Showdown in their home country of Australia. So they had a pretty okay run, mainly known for their time in NXT, of course. That's where they got their popularity from, and did decent for a little bit while they had the titles. So once again, I'm going to say it every time after everyone, best of luck.
And they sold a lot of merch, too. So you would have thought if they kept them around for that purpose, they would have been financially at least paying off their own contracts.
Yeah, but
they can't sell more merch if they break them up.
Yeah, they did. So.
And this is only the first of many examples, actually, out of all the releases that they don't care about tag teams at all.
No.
But let's get into a very shocking one, the one that hurt me the most, I would say, just because of her status as an individual inside WWE. And that's Mickie James, the most disrespected legend, I'd say almost of all time, for
By
no
far.
reason whatsoever. For no reason. I think her husband has beef with maybe Bruce Pritchard or something, I heard, or something. But that's no need to.
Well, other than the Alexa Bliss little grouping they did with her, that was it. Just
There was
nothing else.
Yeah.
She tried to create the Monday Night MILF thing, and they hated that and shut that down right away.
Yeah. She
No,
tried.
Mickie James, like you said, she is the most disrespected legend in WWE history, far and away.
Yeah.
I could honestly see if they ask her to be in the Hall of Fame, she could say no. She very well might say no for a while, just because this was a terrible return run. Because you would have thought, like, okay, she's going to come back, maybe be in a few title matches, not win it, but at least give her something. And then, eventually she retires and that's it. But they did nothing. She was back for what, about 3 years,
Also,
give or take?
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, even if you want to say, like, at this point now, she can't really go as much in the ring, which I still think she has some left in her.
They could have put her in the MVP role.
She's been there for 3 years. But she's been there 3 years. 3 years ago, she was absolutely good to go in the ring. She did an NXT match. She was great. Like, she was still good in the ring. She could have still gone.
I agree. And speaking of NXT, she was just on doing the kickoff shows for NXT too, and she was doing a phenomenal job with the kickoff with Sam Roberts and some other guy. Keep her in that role in NXT just to do kickoffs, and
that's what they use Beth Phoenix for.
Yeah, maybe she can do like the backstage interviews too.
Mickie James. Beth is terrible.
Yeah, well, Beth.
I'm sorry. I think Beth is. I think Beth is awful at commentary.
She improved.
Still think she's terrible.
Well, they also rotate her partners out every other month. It feels like sometimes.
Yeah, they do rotate a lot in NXT. I do agree. I'm shocked that survived this wave.
My criticism of Beth is just she says so many dumb things.
And they're not
just like, oh man, that looks like it hurt.
And you know who her husband is, so they're not getting rid of her.
Well, that's why. Yeah.
So,
for sure.
But no, Mickie James, multiple-time women's champion, Divas champion. Like you said, went away for a little bit, came back, had the match with Asuka, takeover, and they basically did nothing else except for the Bliss stuff. So it's sad, but it happens again. But it shouldn't have happened this way for Mickie James. Let's move on to Chelsea Green, who got released, which another one who didn't really have the opportunity to do anything because of injuries again. She would make her smack. She didn't really appear too much in NXT. She was with the Robert Stone brand for a little bit. Then Vince loves his underutilized NXT talent, so he brought her up almost right away.
Underutilize them even more.
Well, she got hurt a couple times.
Well, she's been hurt like 5 times. They tried to debut her.
Yeah, that's just injury prone right there. She's never really got the opportunity to.
She ends up wherever Zack Ryder is, which he's
probably back in Impact, 100%. I think so too. She'll have that.
But also, she's like friends with a lot of the women over at AEW, so she could also end up there too.
Britt, she's good friends with Britt, but she's also good friends with Deanna, who's in Impact. But they're kind of joined at the.
But they also work. Yeah, that's the thing. They do the talent exchange here and there.
Yeah. So, but she'll be fine. She'll go back to whatever she was doing with her.
Well, that's the thing. A lot of these people who got fired will find a job in either of the two companies.
Yeah. Even if it's not there, there's still Ring of Honor's on the rise again, low key, and there's Major League Wrestling, and people can go back to Japan if they want to try that out. So there's plenty of stuff.
Still a thing. It's amazing how they went from the clear number 2 to number 4.
Yeah, they are number 4. I agree.
But also, everyone other than WWE, it always cycles through. Like everyone has their peaks and valleys.
Of course.
Like AEW will eventually drop off soon, and people will be like, "This is a disaster. What the hell are they doing?" And then Impact will be better. But that's besides the point.
But Chelsea never got the chance with that. That just sucks in general. But injuries happened, and I guess they had to make some cuts. So that's another one. Let's fly through a couple of these other ones, like Tucker. We
called this when they split him. Yeah, we said he will be in the next round of cuts. Post-Mania, and it happened.
I feel bad that we called it. I don't want him to get fired.
But this was the most one where I saw the name. I was like, "Yep, knew that was happening."
He's been on Twitter. He's funny. Somebody was like, "Why'd you break up? Why did you guys break up Heavy Machinery or something like that?" And
yeah, like, who knows? I didn't. He did. The person was like, "I didn't want that to happen." Dude, he was like, "Me either." Like he said, he's gonna tell his story. So I'm very excited to hear his story. Actually.
Also, what a waste of breaking up Heavy Machinery as well.
Yeah.
Because they didn't even do anything with Otis in the end.
They didn't even
They
give
had
him a
him win.
mid-card belt.
They had him win the Money in the Bank. Well, yeah, win the Money in the Bank and then lose it to Miz. And then they just stopped the Mandy Rose storyline and just moved her.
Yeah, moved her. He's with Chad Gable now. It's okay with Chad Gable if they win the titles. That'd be cool.
But why didn't you already had the tag? You already had the tag team.
Don't know.
Probably a lot of background politics also that
has to be some politics. But Tucker
or Vince was just like, Otis is
I don't
funny.
get
I'm
it.
gonna break him up because I don't like tag teams.
probably, but stinks for Tucker. Best of luck to Tucker. Another one, Kalisto, that they broke off from the tag team, then did nothing. He was with the Lucha House Party for a while. NXT. He did a lot though. Kalisto's been around for a while.
Wow,
NXT tag
United
team
States champion.
Yeah, U.S.
Yeah.
Cruiserweight. He did a
he had
lot.
his own little group also too.
He
That's
got
the
his own
deal.
little exactly, and then that split up for basically out of nowhere. I don't even think they gave an explanation why that split up, but they're still employed, both of them. Both other luchas. I can't think of Lindsay Dorado and Grand Metalik. That's their names. Kalisto got let go. Happens, man.
Yeah.
See, like we're flying through these now. Here's the quickest one for me. Wesley Blake, member of the Forgotten Sons.
I thought he was fired a while ago.
Me too.
I feel bad for him
Do you?
because they got pushed off TV because of injury and because of Jackson Riker's MAGA, Trump, all that. They got excessive heat from the locker room because of that. And they didn't even freaking like Jackson Riker. They put Jackson Riker with them.
Yep.
Then they got kicked off TV because of Jackson Riker. Now he is getting fired while Jackson Riker is still on television.
Every week
because
almost
he's
too with the live.
tall. Because he's tall.
Tall, built, and yeah. But
Likes
Blake,
Trump, and we know how Vince
likes
feels about
Trump.
Trump. He employed his wife.
Yeah. But Blake was tag team champions with Murphy back in NXT in the early days, and that's about it. Let's move on to Bo Dallas. I was a big fan of Bo Dallas back in NXT. I was a big Bo Lever. I had the T-shirt, and this put all the rumors away of there being a second Fiend. They probably honestly wanted to squash those rumors, so this is what they did.
And that's
man.
why they cut him.
He was with the Miz Taraj, and that's about it. The Social Outcast, and
B-team.
didn't really do anything the last couple of years ever since the B team, honestly, ever since the B team. So stinks for Bo Dallas too. And last and certainly least, Mojo Rawley.
I remember they were trying to do the Broken Mojo gimmick thing, and that was awful.
Yeah.
Screaming in the mirror, he was like, "Figure it out!"
They
I'm like, "Oh, okay."
They gave Mojo way too much.
He was Gronk's boy. And then
That's
Gronk
way-
left, and then they had nothing to do for him.
And then they were like, well, Gronk's not coming back. So
Neither are you.
You're not either.
also, I'm pretty sure Gronk didn't want to learn wrestling.
Yeah, no,
He
Gronk
wanted
wanted
to
to
be
run
a
around.
wrestler, but he didn't. Yeah, he didn't want to actually learn wrestling.
And yeah, Mojo never won any titles, but he did win the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, which honestly, looking back now, should have been won by Jinder Mahal in that situation because
Yep.
that was the push. That was the year.
They set up Mahal.
That was the year they set up Mahal. That would have been the
Mhm.
perfect start of it right there. Having him
Well, that's
win.
how we thought they were going to use for all of them. And Cesaro finally got his push 8 years later, or whatever, however long it was.
Yeah. But that does it for all outside the ring. That's all we're talking about for outside. Best of luck to every single one of those guys. Hopefully they find a job doing what they love somewhere else. But let's get into Monday Night Raw now. Kind of like a lackluster week after WrestleMania.
Well, I think it's just because there's no live crowd. If they were able to have live crowds at anywhere, they would have had a little bit better.
More surprises. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's
I potentially think maybe they're waiting till WrestleMania Backlash. After that,
Maybe.
I'm really holding out hope because this Monday after Raw or Monday after Mania was
a dud.
probably the worst Raw after Mania.
Like the only
that
major
I can
return
remember.
was Charlotte coming back.
Yeah.
She's been
And
gone
it's-
for like 4 weeks.
But
But it's not even like they had her get involved in a match or, because then they ran Asuka and Ripley like right afterwards. You would have thought, oh, maybe she
Yep.
would blow that match up and make a no decision, then set up a triple threat for Backlash. No, they just had her come out. It was an awesome promo she cut.
Phenomenal.
But the return was just like, here she comes. It's like, what? I thought it was supposed to be like surprise returns.
Yeah. but
Yeah.
she did come back. So that's all I got to say about that. The Vikings came back. Good tag teams. That's what I want. That's what we need.
How
Can't
do they
wait till
bring
they
them up?
split them.
Oh my god, they're to put Ivar on his own. He's to be the next Otis Ivar. Just because they were using him like that last year, like calling them all like handsome and stuff.
Well, they
Handsome
were funny
Ivar.
with when they were doing their whole thing with the Street Profits with the vignettes of like the one-upsmanship. Like that was
so
funny.
good. That was so good. Yeah.
That was the best thing on WWE for a while.
Yeah, especially with no fans.
They don't care about tag teams.
Oh no, not at all.
No, they don't.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing.
But those two return.
Remember the Fashion Files?
I do.
Awesome.
It was years ago.
I do. Those were fun.
Fashion Files was amazing, and then they never even gave him the title.
No. But those two returns happened.
All right, continue. Sorry, I made myself sad.
But those two returns happened. But we also had a debut in not a normal way, but the Raw commentary team got shaken up. Byron stayed, Corey Graves jumped over from SmackDown, and Adnan Virk from ESPN is now the voice of Monday Night Raw. ESPN MLB Network, my bad.
Yeah. Great baseball journalist, commentator, whatever. Very shaky, obviously, and it just seemed very forced. But obviously, it was his first night, so I'm not going to kill him. I'm going to give him until the jury will start coming back in to make their decision post backlash. Give him about a month or so, because at times he sounded really, really corny. Like he was trying to play up like Irish whips and clotheslines. Like he was playing up moves that shouldn't necessarily be played up. But obviously, that's the first time they're working together, and they got through it. Like the banter between them and him, Graves, and Byron worked because Byron and Graves will always be great together. Just Corey ripping them. So whoever you stick in the middle, it'll work. It's just he needs to settle down, and I think over time he will. But he didn't really do play-by-play for baseball. He was more like a studio guy. So it's interesting that they pulled him for that rather than like host the kickoff shows.
Yeah, I thought he did good. I'll give him that. I thought he did good for his first time. I thought it was fine. Like he started off a very shaky. The first segment was shaky, but. Otherwise, I thought he did okay.
It's weird that this is the first time we've seen someone make the jump from real sports to WWE rather than work in WWE and then jump to real sports.
Yeah, I feel like it's been happening too often now too. Because even in NXT, they have like these MMA guys doing like the kickoff shows too. Like I don't know who they are.
It's like they're trying to legitimize it again. Like they always kind of go through this wave, especially like when Brock's there. Like they try to make it feel like it's legit.
Yeah, no, I agree, but good for him for getting a job. That's cool. A new face on Raw, a new voice.
Good for him getting a job.
Yeah, man. I mean, he's getting that bag that got cut from everybody.
I'm surprised they didn't send him to like NXT first and work down there. That they just brought him
one up again.
Yeah, that they just did to go straight to Monday Night Raw.
Vic on Raw would have been cool. So
what happened to Tom Phillips? Do we know?
UK, I think.
I think he's UK.
Oh my god!
But Phillips was good.
Yes,
Phillips was good.
No one's gonna watch him then. That's the problem.
Who cares? The problem.
Who cares about UK? It's on at like 2 p.m. on a Wednesday morning.
2 p.m.
Never mind.
On a Wednesday morning.
Oh my god, MLB the show's not in your brain over there.
Yeah.
Let's continue at Raw. Just a couple more things that were important on Raw, which was Alexa Bliss keeping this gimmick. We were excited to see what was gonna happen, and
they didn't explain anything.
They kind of explained on commentary that Alexa cost Fiend the match. That's the way they're kind of going with this.
It seems like she's kind of like she's splitting off.
Like she got the power from the Fiend kind of and is like, hey, I don't need you anymore. I can do this all on my own. And she has a little doll that moves and its name is Lily. So that thing's going to be in my nightmares for the next couple of months. But I'm excited to see how this goes. It's another leg in the story. I'm fine with the way this went. And there was a Firefly Funhouse again, a normal Firefly Funhouse. So
are they just not going to interact with each other anymore?
I honestly think your SummerSlam match is The Fiend versus Alexa Bliss. I really think that's a SummerSlam match.
That'd be cool.
It would be cool. And I think there's going to keep building towards that because Bray says he wants a new Funhouse and witches be crazy. That's what he said on the Funhouse.
So Alexa Bliss is a witch.
There you go. I'm excited to see where this goes. Bray's always thinking this is definitely Bray's idea again. So I'm just excited to see where it goes. And last and certainly least on Monday Night Raw, there was match between at the end of the match between he got attacked by T-Bar and Mace, Retribution fellas, who seem to be
Just on their own
with
They're just-
MVP and Bobby Lashley. They're replacing Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin for no reason. I'm glad they get to do something, these guys, because they're both very talented.
Is their new gimmick gonna be like mercenaries now?
Basically like the hitmen for
Yeah.
Why? They didn't get anything done. You're just
Mhm.
replacing Shelton and Cedric, guys who couldn't get things done, with T-Bar.
I don't know.
with people who have less resumes,
Okay.
less chemistry, and Shelton and Cedric had a match, and they still were in the Hurt Business gear, like the black and gold.
Yeah. But going back to Jesse's point about Jackson
So
Riker, the
stupid.
reason they're doing this is because they're big, tall, and muscular, these guys. That's the only reason. And it's like a big.
I hope they drop the Mad Max look, please. Just
Yeah,
for the love
I
of God.
think that happens this Monday on Raw. I really do. I think the masks get
'Cause-
dropped at least.
Yeah,
I think so. But I hope so at least.
because
I
Mia
hope
Yim
so.
dipped too. Like she's out of them. I think.
Yeah, I think
She had like COVID and then
Yeah.
like just never came back.
And on the Mania stage, she was like when they did the whole Vince McMahon thing.
She was in her own look. She was in her look.
Yeah.
Like HBIC, yeah, like look, but that's the way they're going with Raw. That was the big thing. That
Alright.
ended Raw after Mania was T-Bar and Mace.
What
Let's get into
crap.
NXT. Let's get into NXT. Tuesday night NXT for the first time, and they put on a pretty good show. Very, very exciting show. A new logo they debuted with like a little skull with like the wings and like,
I'm not. It looks kind of gaudy. It looks a little too much.
I thought you liked that look, Justin. That
No.
182 rock look. You
That's not what that looks like. That looks like Triple H just said, make this look like a metal band, and that's basically what it is.
I think it looks pretty cool.
It looks like it would be a prestige emblem in Call of Duty.
Yeah. I
You
don't,
don't
I
know
don't play
what that-
Call of Duty.
yeah,
I'm
you
just
don't know.
agreeing with you.
Yeah.
But, man, running out of time. We have 10 minutes left. We can finish this. But Kushida won the Cruiserweight title on NXT, so that was exciting.
They finally did something for him.
Yeah, that was great. Santos Escobar had a great run. If he gets called up, he gets called up. If he moves into like the North American or World title picture, that's great too. Or if he stays in the Cruiserweights and battles Kushida for a couple more matches, I'm okay with that too. That was great. And now here's the main part of NXT that we have to get to, which was like the champions celebration. We had Raquel Gonzalez come out, who was then interrupted by Frankie Monet. That is Taya Valkyrie, finally made her debut, cut a sweet little promo, whatever, with her dog. And then Rhea came out, they hugged, whatever. Bianca came out, and they all just had a nice little moment. Three friends back in the early days of NXT are now running the new era of women's wrestling in WWE, and it was just such a beautiful sight to see. It really was, because
It would be
it's a
awesome
change of
to
the
get-
garden away.
It would be awesome to get like a 4-horsewoman match versus them. Get a fourth for them.
Well, who would be the fourth?
I
Oh
don't
yeah,
know.
we never got the
We never got the MMA one.
Asuka, EO.
Yeah, throw.
Yeah, we never got the
EO.
Asuka,
I'd say.
EO. I'm trying to think if there's anybody else that you can
Candice,
throw in
maybe?
there.
They could find somebody.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe.
But
I think it would be EO or Asuka. Ember, but like
She's with
I think EO or
Shotzi.
Asuka best too.
yeah,
Yeah.
This was good. This was
Oscar would make
awesome.
sense just because of the streak in NXT, but yeah, no, it was nice. And I'm glad
Exactly.
I'm glad they acknowledged it too, because they all debuted together at the same. It
For the
was
mo-
Mae Young.
For the most part, yeah, Mae Young. Yeah, so seeing that moment was really cool. Nice picture. Lovely. And then the 8-person tag to end the show was funny, just with the way is phenomenal. I love what the way he's been doing. And the Indy and Dexter Loomis storyline is great. They seem to be building up Bronson Reed very, very well to eventually get maybe the North American title. So that's exciting. But overall, pretty good NXT episode. I got any other words before I move on, or
Nope.
want to touch on anything else?
No,
No.
Nah.
we're good.
Yeah. All right. SmackDown for the brand time. Pat McAfee showed up on Friday Night SmackDown to be the replacement for Corey Graves, and we got to give him the same treatment as Adnan Virk. He did okay. McAfee, I think he did a lot better
Yeah.
than Virk.
Well, he's
but-
also more versed in wrestling. That's the thing. He's been on commentary before a few times.
Yeah, no, been on commentary, been in the ring for 2 matches. He loves the business too, and he did a good job. You have to just get used to his raspy voice on commentary.
Oh,
Like,
it's awesome.
I listen to the show sometimes.
It's
but,
an
like,
easy listen.
Yeah, it's funny. It's very funny. So I enjoyed that. And then we have our next feud for the Universal title, which seems to be Roman Reigns and Cesaro. And for the most part, the same old Roman Reigns storyline. Didn't want to fight Cesaro tonight, so had Jey Uso do his dirty work. Do we like the direction of Reigns and Cesaro so far?
Sure, gives him a one-off at Backlash before, and it lets the Edge Daniel Bryan storyline breathe.
Yeah, where were they?
Yeah, agreed. I figured this is where we were going. I figured Bryan and Edge were gonna take. I think Edge is gonna be taking time off.
They'll be back for SummerSlam.
I'm not sure with Bryan. Yeah, for sure. At least Edge will be. Again, I don't know what's going on with Bryan because they really hit hard on like this might be my last Mania thing. So I don't know where exactly that's trending for him, but this is fine. Cesaro's gonna, get his title match. He's gonna lose, and it's gonna be fine.
Then we move on.
Be a good match.
On to the next one. Yeah, it's gonna be a good match, but same old storyline. Like, I need something a little bit different. I love Roman Reigns, like you said, Jesse.
They gotta spice it. He's almost has to lose the belt just to spice it up.
Eventually he does. He
maybe drop it at SummerSlam.
Or they just at this point, I kind of like. It kind of peaked with the Edge Daniel Bryan thing and his dominance there.
Like, it would have been
almost
perfect.
Kind of like you need a new like person for him to go against is kind of the thing. You need like the Fiend. That would be such an interesting
and
like storyline type thing.
It can't be someone to just run through him with one time.
Exactly. Or like just give him a different story. Like if Randy Orton was there, or like AJ or so. Like they're obviously everybody Roman's face has been different. Like, Kevin Owens isn't the same as Edge and Daniel Bryan and everything, but they're all kind of like this baby face that's like, maybe I can beat Roman, and Roman's just like, I'm the face of the company. And I feel like we just kind of need a different thing. And I don't necessarily blame Roman. I just think we need a different character for him to kind of foil off of.
And also a new story. Like, I'm kind of getting sick of the whole Jey Uso doing the dirty work too. It's like the same thing with Kevin.
Like, you almost need Jey Uso to cost him the title, him get obliterated by him, and then Roman's on his own almost.
That has to happen, or so cost Roman a big match. Doesn't have to be something like that. But last and once again, certainly least, on Friday Night SmackDown, we had the new, I don't know what he is to Apollo Crews, but his name's Aziz now.
His muscle. It's his muscle.
It's his muscle. It is almost to AJ, and it's cool. They gave him like a little backstory of like how he was I don't know what, I don't remember.
General Sergeant.
General something. Yeah, I don't know. Gave him a little backstory, and it's cool. It's fine. It's just very corny and cheesy.
Why does Apollo need muscle? Like, he's jacked.
I don't know. It's a commander.
He is commander, by the way. Ripped.
It's Commander Aziz.
Cool.
Yeah, he is ripped, and he has this big 7-foot dude behind him now. So they're going with that. I'm glad these Raw Underground guys are finding jobs on the main roster to do something.
Yeah,
they are just muscle. But Aziz, Commander Aziz, and that was it for this lackluster week in wrestling. I think we're taking a week off next week because we all have something to do next week. We'll be up at school for some radio stuff. But anyways, thank you guys for listening to this episode of the Sports Department Podcast. We appreciate it. These guys appreciate it. We're continuing the wrestling week. We'll be back to normal sports really soon. I know, Jesse, you filmed a mock draft with Steve, I'm pretty sure, right?
We're working on it.
Oh, you're working
tomorrow,
on it.
Yeah.
You're working on it. So that'll be up before the draft in a couple weeks for sure. Other sports are coming back soon now. Baseball episode really, really soon. Basketball is getting towards the end of the season, so basketball one should be coming soon.
Thank God.
Yeah. Whoa.
Regular season basketball is a slog to get through.
Says the baseball fan.
You like baseball?
Okay.
Yeah. But
you watch every single one so you can watch the Orioles lose.
Hey, we don't have the worst record in the AL though. That's the New York Yankees.
That is true. But make sure you guys follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at SportsDepthPod. That's Sports DEP Pod. Subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify, and we'll see you in the next episode.